Part 1. Maker of Devil's Den. Arkansas, September 12, 2023. Devil's Den State Park. Arkansas's Jason Klein was the kind of man who liked to disappear, but only on his own terms. A 28-year-old Air Force veteran turned travel blogger. Jason had built a following by solo camping in some of the most remote wilderness areas in America. But when he vanished during a trip to Devil's Den, the internet lit up, and not just because of concern, because Jason's last post had ended. Strangely, there's something here. Not an animal, not a person. I can feel it watching me, and the woods are silent. I've never heard silence like this. His followers assumed it was just part of the act, part of the drama. But 3 days later, when Jason failed to check in with his sister something he never skipped, she reported him missing. Rangers found his campsite untouched. His tent was zipped closed, his boots beside the fire pit. His satellite phone was dead, but his GoPro still running in bursts. They found 4 clips on the camera. The first showed Jason cooking beans over a fire. Normal. The second showed him pointing the camera toward the tree line. He whispers, "I hear it again. That knocking, but no echo." The third is filmed at night. Jason is wide-eyed, shivering. Something's walking upright out there. It's pacing. I thought I saw antlers, but too tall. The fourth is just noise, a high-pitched tone, followed by a low, wet breathing sound. Jason doesn't appear in this one. Only the lens slowly zooms toward the forest. Jason Klein was never found. But here's the part that stayed with investigators. The fire pit. When the Rangers returned a second time, the pit was different. The stones had been rearranged, not scattered, but precisely realigned into a perfect spiral, and scorched into the dirt beneath was what appeared to be a large footprint, 14 inches long, with no toes, just a single cleft, like a hoof, like something not human. Locals whispered it was the Watcher of Devil's Den, a folk legend going back to Native American tales, a spirit that guards the land and devours those who trespass too deep. No signs of animal predation, no tracks leaving the camp, no blood, just silence, and the chilling final update on Jason's blog mysteriously uploaded a day after he vanished, even though he had no Wi-Fi. It's not the forest that's alive. It's what's under it. Part 2. The Disappearing Family of Route 375. Nevada, October 29, 2023. Extraterrestrial Highway. Nevada. The Marlows weren't thrill seekers. They were a perfectly ordinary family of 4 from Missoula, Montana. A dad, a mom, and their 2 children, ages 7 and 10. They were driving to California for a Disneyland vacation when they decided to make a slight detour, a quick nighttime stop along Route 375, also known as the Extraterrestrial Highway. The mistake was stopping at mile marker 43. The area is a desolate stretch of desert just outside the boundaries of the infamous Area 51. There are no lights, no towns for miles, just blacktop, sagebrush, and sky. Locals say you don't stop out there, you keep moving. But at 11:23 p.m., the Marlows' minivan pulled over. Their dashcam captured the last footage anyone would ever see. The van slows to a stop on the shoulder. The parents step out, looking up at the sky. The kids giggle. Something above out of frame flickers. A flash. Then, everything changes. There's a loud humming in the footage. Static. The camera shakes, even though it's bolted to the dashboard. The lights inside the van flicker. The windows distort, as if under immense pressure. Then the footage abruptly cuts off. A passing trucker found the vehicle 40 minutes later. Doors open. Headlights still on. But the inside? Empty. No sign of struggle. No tracks. No blood. No signs of animal attack. No damage to the van. Not a scratch. The strangest part was what he found on the windshield. A handprint. Small, child, but elongated, with only 4 fingers, and slightly scorched into the glass, like heat had burned it from the inside. Authorities launched a full desert search. Helicopters, drones, thermal imaging. Nothing. The Marlowe family had vanished completely. Cell phones left inside the car. One of the phones had an audio recording in its voice memo app, never uploaded. It was only 10 seconds long. "Mom, they're whispering again, in the sand. I can't see them, but I hear them inside my head. They're saying my name. They know my name." The recording ends with a screech, not a scream, not mechanical feedback. Something organic, wet, piercing UN place, able. To this day the van remains impounded. The windshield has been sent to multiple labs. No conclusive explanation for the scorched fingerprint. Conspiracy theorists believe that Marlowe's were victims of a secret test. Maybe military, maybe extraterrestrial. Others think it was a ritual site, a kind of sacrificial zone tied to something ancient, buried beneath the sand. But no one can explain the final text message sent from Mr. Marlowe's phone at 3:33 a.m., hours after they disappeared, even though the phone was recovered inside the van. "We're not dead. We're somewhere else, and it's hungry here." The number was disconnected moments later. Part 3. The Vanishing Teen of Point Pleasant. West Virginia, November 16, 2023, Point Pleasant. West 17-year-old Kayla McBride wasn't the type to run away. She had a 4.0 GPA, a full scholarship to Marshall University, and spent her free time volunteering at the Mason County Library. Her parents called her a quiet light, but on a cold November night in 2023, Kayla walked into the woods behind her house, barefoot, and never came back. It was 3:02 a.m. when her bedroom door creaked open. Her younger brother Eli, half asleep, saw her standing in the hallway, whispering to someone he couldn't see. He said she looked different. He said she looked different. Her head turned, her eyes opened too wide, her skin pale like candle wax, and she was repeating something in a low, rhythmic chant. "It's watching from the smokestack. It's watching from the smokestack." When their mother rushed to see what was happening, Kayla was gone. The front door hung open. Frosty air curled across the floor like smoke. They called the police immediately. Dogs were brought in, drones, helicopters. But after 48 hours, all they found were her footprints, barefoot and deep, leading straight into the forest near the ruins of the old TNT plant, a site long associated with Mothman sightings from the 1960s. But this wasn't Mothman. This was worse, because they found Kayla's phone, 30 feet underground. It was wedged inside a collapsed sewer tunnel near the plant. The only way it could have gotten there, investigators said, was if someone dropped it from the inside. But there was no way into the tunnel anymore. It had caved in decades ago and was sealed shut. What was more disturbing, the phone was still recording. When they found it, the final video showed only darkness until the last few seconds. There was a sound like wet leaves dragging across stone, then a pale face, featureless, eyeless, pressed slowly into the frame, as if it didn't realize it was being watched. And then a voice, not Kayla's, whispered into the mic. She opened the gate. She walked where she wasn't supposed to, so now she sees. After this, something snarled, low and guttural, and the video ended. Locals began connecting it to a series of disappearances. Going back to 1972, always teenagers, always in November, always near the old plant. But this was the first time someone had left evidence behind. Kayla's parents never moved. Her mother sits on the porch every night at 3:02 a.m., hoping she'll return. Her father dug up every map he could find, convinced there's something buried under Point Pleasant that pulls people in. And when reporters followed up in February, the family showed them something new. A spiral symbol had appeared on Kayla's bedroom mirror, burned into the glass, just like the one scorched into the dirt back at Devil's Den, Arkansas. That same spiral appeared in photos taken from the roof of the Marlowe's van in Nevada. 3 disappearances, 3 symbols, number, connections. No known links between the victims. Until now. Part 4. The Pattern. What connects them? All April 2024. Hidden Report. Unreleased podcast. And a forgotten spiral by early 2024. The three cases, Jason Klein, the Marlowe family, and Kayla McBride, had become internet legends. Reddit threads swelled with speculation. TikTok psychics made dramatic videos claiming to channel the missing. But most people, as always, moved on. Except one. His name was Owen Salazar, a freelance investigative journalist known for chasing fringe stories that mainstream outlets wouldn't touch. He'd worked for Vice, Atlas Obscura, and had a small cult following through his podcast, Threshold. But in March 2024, Owen went silent after posting a teaser for a new 3-part episode titled 3 Spirals, 1 Mouth. What's really underneath us? He never released the series. But 1 month later, his laptop was mailed anonymously to a hacker group in Austin, Texas. The drive was mostly wiped, except for a single recovered document. It had no title, just this heading: Entry Points, 3. Locations. 1 geometry. The document laid out chilling research dates, symbols, geospatial alignments. According to Owen, the spiral symbol found in all 3 cases wasn't just some occult marking. It was a cartographic code by overlaying the 3 disappearance locations: Devil's Den, AR, Route 375 NV, and Point Pleasant, WV, and drawing lines between them. Owen had mapped a perfect equilateral triangle, spanning nearly 1,300 miles across the US, and at the exact center of that triangle, a town no one had heard of. A town that doesn't appear on most maps anymore: Ashford Hollow, Missouri. Population, 0. Officially unincorporated. Destroyed by a mining disaster in 1952, or so the story goes. But Owen had gone there. His notes confirmed it. This place isn't dead, it's sleeping. The spiral isn't a symbol, it's a lock, a tunnel seal, a warning. And the pattern doesn't start in 2023. It goes back centuries. Every 11 years, 3 vanishings, always near the triangle, always in different states, and always leaving a mark, a spiral, a scorch, a face without features. He claimed that each site, Devil's Den, Route 375, and Point Pleasant, was built over a sinkhole, part of an ancient subterranean network that connected back to Ashford Hollow, a tunnel system, something older than history, buried beneath the Midwest, something alive. He included an old photograph, black and white, grainy. It showed a collapsed mining shaft in Ashford Hollow, dated 1951. Inside the mouth of the shaft, faint but visible, was a spiral, carved deep into the stone wall, and standing in front of it, a tall, pale figure, featureless, watching the camera. Just like in Kayla's video, Owen's final written words were not typed, but scrawled across the last page in shaky handwriting. It doesn't take them randomly. They're chosen, marked, pulled down into it. A mind below the earth. A thing that thinks in spirals and waits for 3s. We never had a chance. We built our homes on its skin, and now it's waking up. Epilogue, July 2025. Another spiral 2 months ago. A young woman disappeared in western Illinois. She was last seen hiking alone near an abandoned church just outside Ashford Hollow. Her tent was found with food still cooking, water still warm. Her journal contained this final entry: "I don't know why I came here. I just dreamed it. Like something called me. A mouth in the ground, with stairs made of bone. Next to her fire pit was a familiar shape, a spiral. This time, carved into the bones of a deer, laid out in a perfect circle. Authorities still call the disappearances unrelated, but if you draw the lines again, the triangle has opened, and something is coming through, and something is coming through."